Okay, we're going to discuss holographic truths that few people ever notice. So, holographics is the principle of that in the big and in the small, everywhere you find the same patterns. The same patterns repeating themselves. They made a big issue about that, and what the bleep do we know about these beautiful patterns. Now, these beautiful patterns you're seeing, obviously, if one then is self-honest, you'll start applying this principle of equal patterns everywhere, and you'll realize that obviously in consciousness it exists as equal patterns, therefore everything, even yourself, is following the same patterns. And these patterns will be continuously playing out because you are participating in a bigger pattern. So let's look at a bigger pattern so one can just see how this pattern is playing out. We have a wonderful thing which is the business community of the world. Now, the business community of the world is a wonderful reflection of the pattern that has been accepted as the pattern of life. It's also been accepted as the pattern of the law of attraction and the pattern of success and the pattern of power, the pattern of free will, self-will, the pattern of self-glorification, I'll call it. How does it work? Once you own a business, you go and stand immediately in the position of God. And in the position of God, you apply the law of karma, which is the law of consequence. Somebody don't produce their work, they get fired, which is hell, isn't it? If they do well, they get a good salary and income, and they're in heaven. And God decides who the fuck is in heaven and who the fuck is in hell. So, as the businessman makes his choices and lives out his power, the power is based on the principle of energy. But in business, that energy is reflected as money. The more money you have, the more energy you have. The more energy you have, the more power you have, the more godly you are. Therefore, the more brutal and ruthless you can make your decisions about who is going to heaven and who is going to get fired in hell. Just a basic overview, just the beginning of a business pattern. You see already the exact religious pattern playing out, where there is even the point of retribution and forgiveness that God will apply if someone fuck up and say, okay, I'll give you another chance, which is the law of forgiveness that the business leader will apply. But look, this is now playing out big time in our corporate situations where God has abdicated the decision making to CEOs, and the CEOs are similar as being those that is Jesus in the world. They act in the name of God, in the name of the corporation. They are the leaders that make the decision on behalf of the shareholders. The shareholders are that which represents oneness in this world, and they are all controlling the money. Silently, we are allowing you and we're loving you. As long as you follow the rules, you will be looked after and you'll go to heaven. If you don't, you'll be fired and you get nothing. And thus it plays out. Our religious, our business pattern, our social pattern, the pattern plays out in the family with the father being God and the mother being the earth that must be fertilized, from which must grow the fruit of God's work, which is a child that must be the same. And so God cultivates the earth regularly to bring forth more of His children, which then must act as God say. What is interesting within this, obviously, is that God then wants His daughters to remain virgins till He has approved of the selected partner which may fertilize His daughter as the earth. But what God or the parent never say is that they used to wank and fuck around from teenage years already and the first and primary object was to deflower as many virgins as they possibly can, but they will not allow that to happen to their own daughter. It's such a fascinating pattern that one would do something but not allow others to do. It's all an act of God. I mean, the male is representing God in most instances in this reality, corporate, religious, family, everywhere. Some of the females are taking in that role, and have a look. They are then called butch because they become like a male and they act like a male and they say, now I am empowered. You're a fucking fool. You're not empowered. You have bought into the same pattern, the same system. Now, what is more interesting is that the business leader, the corporate leader, will never tell the sheep, that means the consumer, the truth. God never tells anyone the truth. Because if you've known the truth, you would not have listened to God, would you? Same pattern. It's all in mystery, hidden behind closed meetings, closed doors, the pricing, the contents of the food you're eating, what it's made of, secrets. It's called corporate secrets. And so is the Holy Grail, the secret of God. And every company, every business has got a Holy Grail. And everyone else is looking for the Holy Grail that somebody else has got, because then they can clone it, isn't it? They can make a clone product once they've got the Holy Grail. And for that you have copyright laws. Copyright laws should have meant only that you copy it right. Don't say something somebody hasn't said. But now it's made, you have no right to copy it. I mean, it's the same fucking pattern. There is no way copyright laws in the world can stand. That's shown and proven by the internet. It is the end of copyright laws. Get used to it. You are not going to control others with money anymore. The money system is collapsing. It is the end. The design of the patterns was not in the hands of man. It is no longer being designed the way it's always been designed. It is inverted so that everyone will be in an equal position of fuckness unless you change before we get to that. To change before we get to that, we suggest we start with an interim solution that can be quickly implemented. An equal money system and an equal labor system. Then we can look at everything else. Resources, going to Venus. I mean, what the fuck are you going to do in Venus? I mean, Venus represents what? Huh?
Venus is the goddess of love.
The goddess of love. I mean, what the fuck? You want to go to the local dump and try and feed those children that is scratching through the shit with love? You want to take responsibility for that child for the rest of their life, their education, and pay for it? That's the real love you should be giving. You say, no, I don't have the money. That means you don't have the love. Love equals money. Money equals love. So, what is interesting about everyone trying to find solutions is, remember one thing. You're all doing it with money. You open your mouth where others can hear you. You're using money. And then you say, don't use money. But you're using money, fool. Anyway. So, have a look at the patterns of our businesses. How they operate. And look at the profit issue. The profit issue is that which is followed by everyone. When a corporation is profitable, it is seen as great. Because it ensures what? More money for those that dare to believe in the company. I mean, there's another statement of faith. Magnificently showing how profits share information based on money, and who believes that gains from it and can say, oh, my prophet told the truth. When you have a message that exposes all this bullshit patterns that exist as an image of life and which is not really life, then you're apparently bad. Fuck, I don't give a fuck how bad you perceive me to be. But I'm not fucking buying into this shit. Call me what you will. Satan, devil, Lucifer, the darkness, evil, you name it. But commonsensically, look at what I'm saying. If you apply what we say at Destiny, there will be a substantial reduction in abuse in this world in the regions of 90% or more. In every arena of existence. Not one fucker in existence can do that. I dare all of them. Every fucker that believe in God, pray to your fucking God. I'll prove to you, you'll fucking die and he'll never answer you. That is too late, obviously. Get practical. Okay? And watch out. If you go into business for money, you're buying into the pattern of God. You're going to play God. You can play God, but there is a consequence. At this stage, understand the consequence is still after death. But it will be, as we are moving along, emerging as real-time consequence in this reality. That's what everybody has been wishing for. That when you have a desire, it must manifest immediately. It's going to. But it's going to be equal and one to your truth. I hope you have fun with that.